All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful day. I got another watch list for you. I don't know, did you miss me? I'm getting pale again. It's winter, it's cold, natural gas. Anyways, but we got to talk about what happened today. You still have Jerome Powell tomorrow. I got a mini breakdown, but I'm telling you, it's going to get weird, and there was something fishy about today. So we ended up doing good still. We were able to realize about $19,000. So hopefully you've been able to learn about how we've been going back and forth with this. Again, regardless of the dollar amount, I mean, you've seen us go negative to positive. We've done it a lot, and it's by playing these events. So hopefully you're picking up on it. I'm going to go over the plays here at the end, but before I get into Powell, before I get into what is really fishy, just let me tell you right now, tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, there is going to be a big move at the release of the data. And at 2:30, you're going to get Jerome Powell, and we are going to be live. So I hope I see you there, because if anything changes from this video, you are going to want to be there live. And I'm telling you, even with it being a difficult day, like half of the positions that we had today, we came into it. But if you watch the trades, there is a lot of opportunities. And now we are awaiting new info, and that could get things popping. So we got a lot to talk about, but now let's start with what the first fishy thing is, and this is what happened today. So this was pre-market. Even like the White House commented, and they were like, no, the CPI wasn't leaked. Even Bloomberg was talking about it, and I was like, why is everybody keep bringing this up? You know, it seems a little bit weird, but I remember it happening in the morning. I guess I was kind of used to it because we've seen a lot of crazy moves. But if you look here, almost half of the move occurred before the release even came out. And this was leading people to suspect that maybe there was a leak, because you literally went from 401 to 405. You see those little candles there, and that was before the data was even released at 8:30. So that was the first thing. Now, the second thing, all voice cracks aside, look at the market, man. We were up 4% on the NASDAQ today, and then we sold off, and it was very, very bad in that sense, even though we closed green. Now, this has happened a couple of times, and honestly, all today reminded me of was that last CPI on October 13th. If you guys remember, CPI was awful, market shot down, and then by the end of the day, you were up by a pretty big margin, and then that led into pretty much most hated rally part 2. So I hope you guys are ready for tomorrow, because that's like my first key right now, is that what you saw today is going to make tomorrow that much more crazier. So drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed, and we better see you live there. I mean, it's on you, baby, but run it.
Working to the couch, it's the 2020 election. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a little, but I still reinvest it. Feel how I feel, then you feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but the sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down.
But right off the bat, ladies and gentlemen, I'm like trying to talk quiet so I can save the voice for tomorrow. And I really hope I keep it simple. But like I'm saying, I hope this will help you out. But given how complex tomorrow will be, you're going to want to be there, because we are awaiting new information. Now, to start with your first key, today's move made Powell, it's putting him in a very difficult position for tomorrow. And given that the CPI was really good, again, the month over month, even the headline, even the core, there was a lot of good factors. And the fact is, we are now stringing together 2 positive CPI reports. That is really good. The market will be waiting for a dovish confirmation from Powell. If he ends up not destroying the market, it is going to be very good. But now the problem is, he is going to have to fight all of these knee-jerk reactions as the release comes out and as he's talking, while he still needs to explain the message. And hopefully, like we showed at the beginning of the week, and this has changed since then, but hopefully people don't go too crazy with what he's saying, and then there's a big divergence between what the Fed is pricing and expected and then what the market is. So that is the first key. But now The second one, and what I want you to understand about tomorrow, is that we will have a big move right when the 2 p.m. move comes out. Usually it's like a decent sized move, and then 30 minutes later when the press conference starts, that's usually where you get all the action. But now you are getting the summary of economic projections tomorrow, and that is going to make it that much more important, because right when the release comes out, you're going to see the Fed's dot plot. You're going to see where the Fed thinks terminal will be, and then you're going to see how much that changed from September. So this is what I'm telling you. I don't know that number now, but as we get that tomorrow live, we are going to be able to make our interpretation. But that in and of itself, that's a lot of power that can move you right at the release. And then right when Powell starts speaking, I'm telling you, all bets are off. You even saw it today, positive, and then we sold it off. It's going to be the same thing with Powell, where the market may make one move, but as he speaks, it will either reverse or it will continue, but it all depends on what he is going to say. So I'll bring you into my third key, and I've been saying this a lot all day today. Again, I like the CPI. On a macro front, there's a lot of good signs. I mean, hopefully Powell doesn't come on tomorrow and say, well, the only reason you saw what you saw was because of a recession. That would be bad, but otherwise, I think it was good. I think today was bullish, even though we sold that off. However, I think that the release tomorrow will be bullish. So the fact is, there's a lot of things that are going to be discussed, but given the nature of what happened today, in writing as they address it, I think that's going to come off very, very hawkish or very, very dovish. That will lead to a bull reaction. But by the time Powell speaks, it's up to him. Does he believe the market's looser or tighter? Well, we'll see as he starts talking. But that being said, now I want to talk about some of the talking points that could potentially come up tomorrow that will cause these knee-jerk reactions. So the first one here is that Powell will have to acknowledge the trend of inflation going down 2 months in a row. So this might show up right when the release comes out, but I am sure at some point he is going to bring this up, and there's no way to say it positively or negatively without the market getting positive on it. And it's simple. He's going to have to say, well, yeah, 2 months in a row is a really good sign, and the pace and velocity is continuing down. That is exactly what they want to see. I think that will cause a bullish reaction tomorrow. But now the next part is that Powell is most likely going to say, and all of this is my opinion, by the way. There's no just, this is my opinion, so take it all with a grain of salt. But I really think he's going to say, yeah, we have to acknowledge it, yibbity-dobbity-doo, but it is still too early to claim a victory on inflation, and I think that will be neutral or bearish depending on how he says it, and if he pairs it up with any other information or data, that could quickly turn it negative in some way. So that's another thing to watch out for, and then I believe that Powell is probably going to double down now on the importance of jobs and how it gives them room to stay longer. So I think this will be bearish, again, especially if the market is up a lot. I think Powell is going to hopefully use this coming into next year to steer the market from, okay, stop looking at CPI, stop looking at it. I've been telling you jobs, but now this is the final point he has to hammer home if he still wants to keep rates high or even keep raising a lot more. And that's something that happened today, is that rate cut expectations, they changed. So pretty much now the market got a little bit chiller out on, okay, well, after the CPI today, maybe the Fed won't have to cut as much. So I'm assuming Powell will use this as good evidence to hammer this point home and try to get the market to focus on the jobs now, or kind of use that as his scapegoat out of anything. And then finally, I think Powell is going to acknowledge progress towards a soft landing while being in restrictive territory. And I want you to remember this, because how he talks about it with restrictive territory, I think a lot of people have forgot about this. This is what was getting Bullard hyped up and a lot of other people earlier. I think this will be important. And again, anytime we've seen the market kind of pivot, it was on this question during a press conference. So we want to see what he says about soft landing. How does he feel? Does he feel now we're in restrictive, and now with progress on inflation, does that mean you're in restrictive? But if he acknowledges the soft landing, I think that's going to be bullish. However, if he somehow uses the opportunity to say, well, soft landing's not there, and he does not sound optimistic about it, it very well could end up being bearish. So hopefully that all helps, Chad. Like I said, you better be there tomorrow. A lot of things are going to change, and we are going to see. But now Let us get into the plays. But right off the bat, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have any plays outlined for you because all I'm going to be doing tomorrow is pretty much watching the main plays that I am in. But now following Powell is going to be all about the bonds. It's the same sort of setup as yesterday. I am holding long on the bonds. I made a flip on them, but now I'm holding 2 of the ZN, and this is definitely something I will be watching, especially if the market goes up. I am expecting the bonds to go up with it. Now, can I be wrong? Yes. Can there be a delay? Yes. But the whole idea here is, is rates. It has to do with how the bonds are going to be very, very sensitive, especially after everything we've seen here. So other than that, though, probably going to go back and forth on the NQs. As of now, I'm holding 1 ES, and you'll see how I got there. But for the most part, we took most of the profits, and now we'll go to the plays and see. And I wish I held some of these in the morning, but right when the report came out, I thought it was good. I closed my Apple shares short. It was like a $500 or $600 loss from yesterday, so I took that loss. I closed my Netflix. It accidentally put me on 50 more. Again, I had a short on Netflix, so I covered the short on Apple and Netflix. Lost another 5 or I think 700 total on Netflix there. I ended up closing out middle of the day. Didn't really do much, but ended up getting out of those plays. Again, I went long on Apple, so that is something that I am still holding. And then I went long on the bonds, and you'll see this is all before the market even opened. And then the market opened, I was holding the bonds. They were up, and then all of those ESs from yesterday, remember, after all of the average downs, my average price was 4,002. I closed out at 4,100, so I was about a net gain of $15,000. So it was a good one, and honestly, not here to flex on it. I just hope you guys are learning from it. And yeah, I know these are big positions, but how you play it is more important than anything. Give yourself room. Don't get too crazy. And you guys have watched this now several times of the go down before the event. Sometimes we're up before the event and we keep it clean, but this shouldn't be too unfamiliar. But like I'm trying to say here, in this type of market, is not really as much what you play as opposed to how you play it, and if you are giving yourself room and outlets to be able to move with everything else. But that was a nice one. Then I closed the 6J and the 6B, took an $8,000 loss on the pound play, and then I got like a $4,000 or $5,000 gain on the yen, but I just reopened for the next contracts because these are about to expire. So closed them, reopened the exact same positions. There was a little bit more of a gap, and then I closed the bonds and took profit, but then I went long again on that 1 ES at 41.22. I said I'll get one, and then it was able to go a little bit higher than where I sold. I could have been able to squeeze it out a lot better, but expose myself to risk. That's the one I'm still holding, but I'm pretty confident on that one. Took RTX. That was like $200 profit. Then I added 200 shares at MGTA. That is a biotech. They had some good, I think it was cancer related today, which was good, so I liked it. And then this is the second part of the day, and I'm not going to go over them too specifically. I think you should just watch them live because they were crazy. Some of these were just like 1-minute trades, but I flipped the NQ, hit that. I closed the Netflix. This Apple one, it was just weird on my screen, so I closed that one share, but I hit the NQ. That was like 1, 2, 3. Then we did a short and 4, and you'll see I did all of them, but pretty much they all hit. I was able to realize about an additional $3,600 on just NASDAQ scalps throughout the day, and then I added to another one of the bonds there. After I sold that original one, you can see I took profit somewhere around here. It was like $300-$400. Then bonds kept going down, and then I added one more by the end of the day, and then I closed out the Amazon for another $200 on the shares, and that was pretty much it. So going back to what I'm holding, I know there was some confusion on them. Sometimes I misspeak. That's why I'm hoping you guys are paying attention visually. But if you want to be a little a-hole about it, you're just missing out on everything. But we still love you, baby. But here are the plays I think recently besides Boyle and UNG and like PRVB. But there's like Activision, I'm still holding short. The XLU, I'm still in that to the upside. TSM, I think I forgot this one yesterday. Still holding that negative 50 shares or positive 50 shares, down $1 per share. The Disney has been like a month and a half now almost. Still holding the Uber. This came back a little bit today, then slipped, and then there's the MGTA from today, and then even the AMAM, the other. These are two little mini biotechs, again, very, very small position-wise, and then still in the Qualcomm, down 1,800, and then the Tesla, I was up $800 in the morning, and I didn't take it. I thought my theory would play out, but no. No. And then there's the Apple shares down 345, but I had to take a bigger loss there because I rolled over the $600 loss on the short play from yesterday. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. So still got to realize about $19,000 today. We lost whatever was unrealized to even the ES and all of that. And like I'm saying, going to really be focusing on these ones that we have and then go from there, ride it out, interpret power. And then I think it's going to be a good day. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure hydrate, healthy, ready to go. Make sure post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. I need you to remember, win or lose today, we're all in the same boat. If you won and you lost and you don't realize you are in the exact same position as the person opposite of you, oh, you are in for a big reality check. A lot can change. You are already ready. Approach this humbly. Don't take yourself out the game mentally, Chadadonia. And we got to bring it home. So, Chad, I love you. You're ready for it. Let's close out the end of the year because after this, it might get a little bit chiller with Santa. So, it's going to be good. Get more rest. And then I'm going to get rest, too. It's going to be good. I got to drink the water. I got to stretch and do. Okay, I love you. Hard.